Something unthinkable has just happened in your neighborhood. There was an earthquake or a flood. You've just had a tornado hit or a hurricane is on the way. You have to evacuate, and you don't know when or if you will return. What about a biological event like the avian bird flu, or even a nuclear accident? What do you do? How do you survive until the authorities come, and when will they come? Welcome to the Emergency Preparation and Cooking Show, designed to teach everyone what their choices are and how to buy and actually use the right equipment. A show that provides you hands-on experiences by cooking delicious, nutritious meals using canned goods, dehydrated foods, sprouting seeds, and gardening seeds. With step-by-step demonstrations on how to have a positive adventure during disastrous times versus a life-threatening survival of the fittest experience. It's now your choice. Knowledge truly is power. So here to take the mystery and trepidation out of being prepared is the host and creator of the show, Reg McDaniel Jr.
Hi, this is Reg McDaniel, and welcome back to our show, the Emergency Preparation and Cooking Show. My guest today, I'm very excited to introduce to you, is Jim Shepard, the developer of the Berkey water purification system. And they're headquartered in my stomping grounds of Arlington, Texas, and glad to be going down to Texas all the time for things like this. So, Jim, tell us about the Berkey water filter. What caused you to create it? You know, tell us a little story about your pumping and how long it took and all that, okay?
Well, Reg, I kind of had a sense that that in the event of emergency, that water is going to be very, very important. And this really started out with me just putting all this water in barrels and realizing, gee, many Christmas. I mean, this stuff's heavy. You can't even move it. If you get an emergency, you got to relocate. You can't take big barrels of water at $8 pounds a gallon. Yeah, it's just too heavy to move. So then I started looking for a water purification system that would meet my needs and my family's needs.
And you had how many kids?
At the time, we had 7 kids.
7 kids,
so we
okay.
had 9 in our family.
Yeah.
And, well, 3 of them were foster kids, 4 of them were our natural kids. Anyway, so we decided, so I went and I got this little pump filter. I thought, okay.
Which I showed in the show earlier, right?
Oh, okay. I thought, okay, now I'm loaded for bear. If we ever have an emergency, then I'm good to go. So we went out to Colorado to the Rocky Mountains and camped out at a beaver pond. And I didn't bother to bring in any water because, hey, I got my little emergency filter with me.
Right.
All right. So anyway, we get everybody set up and get the picnic out for lunch and all that stuff. And I get this little filter out, and then we had some empty pop bottles that we were going to fill up with water. So I get in the beaver pond, and I start pumping this thing. Well, Reg, Jiminy Christmas, I was tired when I got half of a pop bottle filtered through this. And I mean, it filters out the bacteria and everything like that, but I'm going, geez, an emergency. I've got 9 people. I've got to make clean water to do dishes. We're going to have clean water to do bath. And I'm having a hard time just getting a Coke bottle full of this stuff. Well, anyway, I was persistent, got it all done, and then passed out the water. And then I was shocked to find that the water tasted like beaver pond.
So it didn't get rid of the taste.
It didn't get rid of the foul taste at all. It just got rid of the bacteria. And none of the kids would drink it. And they're going, we're thirsty, you know. And I'm going, well, this is what we got to drink. Well, this isn't a very good picnic, you know.
Right.
So anyway, so then we set about to come up with a system that would actually work in a passive manner where you don't have to be sitting there pumping.
Right.
And so you can, you know, and especially, Reg, during an emergency, you got 1,000 things on your mind that are not normal during a
emergency situation or normal life.
Emergency, I mean, all of a sudden you got problems that you never had before, and you got to attend to them. And the last thing you can do is fill your day up with trying to worry about water. So anyway, so we developed a passive freestanding system where gravity will actually take care of the pumping for you, so to speak, while you're out doing other things. When you come back, you've got fresh, clean water.
Okay. And now I've shown we're going to show the audience the filters, but how much water volume will go through the filter per hour, minute, whatever, you know?
Well, this particular system is expandable. The standard system comes with 2 filters.
2 filters.
2 filters. And this will produce about 3.5 gallons an hour, and then you can expand it to 4 filters, and that'll give you about 7 gallons an hour. Now, during an emergency situation, you ought to figure about 2 gallons per person per day. And that's going to be what's going to be required for washing hands. It's not just drinking water that you have to worry about. You got to wash your hands. You don't want to have germs on your hand when you're preparing food.
Right.
You're going to have to wash your food. You're going to have to wash your dishes. And you're going to probably want to take a bath from time to time. So, so 7 gallons. Excuse me. 7 gallons an hour. That's 25, 50, 75, 100, 175 gallons. So in a real pinch, if you're running it 24 hours a day, this would cover about 85 people.
Okay, that's great. Now, we had a sample we want to show the audience of a couple of filters, like the thickness of them, you know?
Okay. This is your standard filter and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but about 98% of water filters do not remove pathogenic bacteria.
So bacteria is a big, huge thing that they don't remove. And in fact, in small print, don't they have some kind of disclaimer?
Typically, you'll find on your standard water filter system, it'll say, do not use with microbiologically unsafe or questionable water. And the simple reason for that is because most filters will actually grow bacteria in them. And so once you contaminate them with bacteria, then you can easily end up with more bacteria in your filtered water than you have in your pre-filtered
So what that means to the viewer out there is all you got to do is pull out your electron microscope to make sure that that's the case with your water if you're going to use that kind of filter.
Right, and the battery backup so that your electron microscope works during your emergency.
Right, okay. So go ahead and show them the difference in gauge there.
Okay, your standard filters are going to be about 330 1/1000ths of an inch in thickness. Berkey,
That'd be 1/4 inch for all you contractors out there.
Okay. The Berkey purification elements are actually 550 1/1000ths of an inch, so it's just a much thicker. This really has two benefits. The one is we just have a more torturous path for anything to try to get through because it just has twice the distance essentially that it has to get through without getting zapped. The second benefit, and this is a real benefit, is that these filters are recleanable.
Yeah, we're going to show them how to do that too.
And that makes this system, not only is it one of the most powerful systems a person can buy, Reg, but it actually is the most economical.
Right, and one of the things I like is, like with the pump thing, you have to buy new cartridges. You better have those in stock if that's what you're going to go with. You have the bacteria problem we're talking about. With these, that's not an issue.
That's not an issue. When they get clogged up and the water starts flowing down, then you simply take a Scotch-Brite pad, toothbrush, or something like that, and you brush off the dirt off of it, put it back in, and it just runs fine.
And they're not fragile either. I mean, they're fragile, but you don't have to be gentle when you're scrubbing. You want to scrub kind of hard.
Yeah, you're going to scrub it until you get rid of the stuff that's on
and
the
what
surface.
I thought when I was incorrect, and a lot of audience members might think this, is that I thought when the water starts tasting bad, that's when you know you need to clean your filters. And no, that's not the case. It's when your water stops flowing through the filters.
That's right.
That's when you need to clean the filters.
When it becomes inconvenient. And some people say, well, I clean them when they start looking dirty. You're wasting your filter. Typically, the contaminants are going to be contained within the top 5 1/1000ths of an inch. And so that kind of gives you a gauge on how many times you can clean it. And obviously, you can clean this filter many more times than you can clean this one.
Right.
Because you're slowly taking little bits and pieces off of this, but this is going to last you a lot longer. And
then finally, would you just repeat the information we talked about on the amount of microbes and things like that? You know, the
the different level. Okay. Well, typically, like I said, 95, 98%, maybe even more of your water purification or your water filters that are available for folks do not even address pathogenic bacteria. And so if you get bacteria in your water, in your source water, it's going to come through or you're going to contaminate your filters. You're going to have problems with it. There is a standard which is bacteria removal, which is log 4. Okay. And bacteria removal implies that if you have 100,000 microbes per liter of water, which is pretty typical, that less than 10 are going to get through that water filter. Okay. And so that is removal. Now there's a standard that goes beyond that, which is water purification. And water purification implies that if you take 10 million, not 100,000, 10 million microbes and you run it through the filter, you're going to get less than 10 through there. And actually our purification system, this is a true purification system and it goes way beyond that.
Right.
And so as a matter of fact, at 10 million, we don't expect any to get through.
None whatsoever, which is really great. Yeah. So one of the great advantages to this is the water is cold. You don't have to boil it, wait for it to cool down and drink it or use it, you know. And the stainless steel is a great plus rather than being a plastic container. Yeah. And then if you like little perks and stuff, tell them about this little stand you have here that has a little light in it. There's blue and there's white.
This is an add-on system, and we really developed this. This is basically an emergency light. You can have blue if you want pretty, or white if you just want practical. And you can take these systems, These systems are great in the house. You can use them every day, you know, as a residential filter. And then when you go camping, take it with you.
Right.
And this makes a great camping light. But if the power goes off and you have an emergency, now you've got your water and you've got light. Which, if you live in a city, you know, a lot of these little apartments, they don't want, you know, people burning little fires and all this kind of stuff, candles and that kind of stuff. So you can solve the problem with this. The other nice thing about this is that this is transportable, and it nests inside like this, so it becomes quite a bit smaller.
Do all of them do that?
All of our stainless steel systems.
I did not know that because I've been carrying mine separate all this time.
Oh,
so I just learned that. Great.
Yeah. And so this is not going down because there's water
in
catching.
it, yeah.
So I don't want to force it.
Right.
But the issue is that it'll just nest down.
Well, space is an issue when you got to boogie out if you do have to.
That's and I know that this is an emergency show, and so I'll just make this comment. Typically, with your emergency preparedness stuff, if most people are like me, you know, you buy this thing and you put it in the closet and you think, if I ever have a problem, I'm going to take this thing out and figure out how to use it. And then you find out you're missing a part or something and it doesn't work. The nice thing about this is that you use this every day. And if you have an emergency, you're prepared. You already know how to use it. You're using it every day. If for some reason you have some sort of an event that requires you to relocate, it weighs 8 pounds. Just nest it in itself, throw it in the trunk, it goes with you. It's capable of purifying pond water, lake water, stream water, sources of water that you find along the road. You can purify it with this system. The
cool thing about the white light is you can actually see everybody in the room. It's bright enough.
Yes.
And you have a solar power charger kind of thing?
Yeah, we do. We also offer another add-on, which is a solar charger, and if we want to get a shot of it later, we can bring it up. But the solar charger basically will charge these batteries. So you can charge this during the daytime, and then at night you have perpetual light. So you have perpetual water, you have perpetual light.
Right.
In addition, we also have battery pack inside of the solar charger so that it itself can be used as a power source to power radios. And
cell
that's
phones
important.
too, right?
Well,
not that we're going to have cell phones,
right.
But yeah.
But if you're in a situation and the power's out, you can't charge your cell phone. Now you've lost communication, and if you don't have power, your radio doesn't work. Well, there's enough power in that system that you can actually, you know, charge it or listen to a little, use it as a power source for your small radio.
It has rechargeable batteries.
It has rechargeable batteries,
right.
And if worst came to worst, you can take those batteries out and put them into your rechargeable. They're AAA batteries, so you'd want to have a radio with AAA batteries. But you can use it for that power source, or you can just plug in the adapter right into the radio. We also have an adapter that will charge the cell phones. So basically, for a very small price, relatively speaking, we can take care of a perpetual water situation, a perpetual lighting situation, a perpetual power situation, a perpetual communication situation. We really knock about 5 categories off just all in one fell swoop.
And as you can see on the screen, this is where you can get the Berkey water filter by calling this number or going to the website. So the next thing we want to do is we want to pretend there's been an earthquake or a fire, or you know, the city's gone to hell in a handbag, so we want to boogie out of here, and we're going to take this and nest it and go find some water and some place to camp out or whatever. So let's go do that next.
You ever been so hungry that your shoes begin to smell like a good T-bone steak? I hope not. Trying to thrive and survive in adverse conditions is not an easy issue. Just having food to eat many times is a comfort. But to be able to thrive is much different than being able to just survive. Trying to live off what many people think is a home storage of wheat and powdered milk and a few other items is not the way you want to go. We have put together the Patriot Pack. The Patriot Pack is a unique combination of foods, enzyme active cereals, energy bars that all you do is add water, cereals that are packed with energy that is giving you about 1,800 calories a day. One of the important factors is the vitamin mineral supplement that goes with it that makes all of the other foods come alive. That gives you all the vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and digestive enzymes that you need to function properly. Energy is where it's at. And in thriving, you have to have energy. There are 180 delicious meals in the Patriot Pack. not just ordinary meals, but something you would eat in a normal diet. They're excellent to eat. As a matter of fact, they smell good, they taste good, and they make you feel good. This Patriot Pack is so unique that it contains a blend of not only foods that you need to heat to be able to eat, but a unique combination of sprouting seeds that when placed in this very dynamic, easy sprouter, can even be carried inside a jacket in the middle of winter and sprouted, and you have live, viable foods. The seeds that are in here are a combination of powerful grains and cereals that when sprouted give you live, enzyme-active, real foods. We're talking about real foods, not just fake foods, canned foods. There's nothing in here that is fake. Even the fruit juice that's in this package is made with real fruit, not synthetic flavorings. It is designed to give you energy when you need it. The package also contains real dried fruits, air-dried fruits that are still enzyme active. They're all in foil packs, and these packs are easy to store. As a matter of fact, everything comes in 2 boxes. And there's enough here for yourself for 60 days or 2 people for 30 days. So don't be without. Consider using the Patriot Pack as a real insurance policy. So the Patriot Pack is a unique combination of live foods, vitamin and mineral supplements, granolas, cereals, pastas, bars, and all kinds of other things that are going to make thriving exciting. The Patriot Pack is something you consider to thrive and not just survive.
And now we're going to go down to a pond, and Jim and I are going to show you how you use your Berkey out in the outdoors if you have to leave town or get out of the city or go to your cabin or go to some place of refuge. We're going to show you how you use your Berkey out in the outdoors where you don't have running plumbing and things like that. Okay, so we're down here at the pond, and you told me that whenever possible you want to use the cleanest water source you can get from when running your filter.
We always recommend that.
Right,
yeah.
but for our viewing audience to show the power and quality of this filter, which not only gets out chemicals and heavy metals, but we're going to show them some really amazing stuff. Let's show them the inside of your bucket first. Zoom in on that. We found a real murky bucket. We're going to pretend we couldn't find a good clean bucket to get our water. Okay, that's good. And then he's going to go down there in his crap shoes and get in the mud and do your thing.
Get ourselves some water.
I'm not going in. So he's stirring up the water, making it real muddy. We got ducks and geese in the pond. They've been doing their business in the water.
And they're happy.
Yeah, they're happy.
Okay.
Now we're going to go over to the water filter. So that's some nasty stuff that gives me the chills just looking at it.
Well, let's get some more, shall we?
Okay.
Are you thirsty?
Oh, you bet. So that's about as cloudy, dirty, muddy as we can possibly get it.
Yeah, you might want to kind of take a look from the top side and see what kind of water we're putting in there.
You got floaties, you got mud, you got duck poop and goose poop, and algae and moss is growing all over the place.
And if I'm not mistaken, we have a couple bugs in there too.
Yeah, you got a couple of bugs just to make a nice, good-looking batch.
Okay. Now, Reg, I'm going to ask you a question. I'd like you to answer me truthfully.
Yeah.
Which chamber do you want to get your drink out of, the top one or the bottom one?
Definitely want the bottom one, no butts, ifs, or ands about it.
Now, Reg, again, the water is coming through here. There's no water pressure from any mechanical system. This works without electricity.
No cartridges.
Water pressure. There's no plumbing to it. The water is being forced through the purification elements by gravity alone.
Right.
And so this will work unless we run out of gravity.
Okay.
That would be a crisis.
Okay.
And then it goes down through there and it extracts from the water pathogenic bacteria, cysts, parasites.
The infamous Giardia.
Right.
Right.
It's going to take out the chemicals that are not only bad for you, but those chemicals that will give it a foul odor or taste.
Right.
And then it's also removing the, it's also extracting heavy metals like lead and mercury that might be found in this water here.
Mm-hmm.
And down here you can see that it's coming through
Clear as clear.
pristine, crystal clear.
Right. Okay, the next question and subject we're going to deal with is, why do you have to prime the filter when you start your Berkey for the first time, and how do you do it? Okay.
Reg, the pores in this filter purification element are so small that they actually can trap air inside the pores. And because this system runs on gravity, there just really isn't enough pressure to push the air out of there. So what we want to do is we want to prime the filter, and what this does is it pushes all the air out of the micro pores. Okay. So why don't we go ahead and prime this, and I'll show you how you do it. This right here is a little priming button that comes with all the systems, and you simply attach this to the stem of the purification element like this. And then I like to put my fingers underneath it like this and put my thumb on top here. And what we're going to do is use the pressure from the water here, from our standard household faucet, to force water through here. And you basically do this until you see little sweat beads coming up out of here, and that tells you that it's pushed all the air out and that now water is coming through it. So let's go ahead and do that. And then if you hold it on the bottom too, it just kind of helps hold it up. Do you see how it's starting to sweat?
Didn't take long at all.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because when that water first comes out, even though you're using cold water in there, it comes out hot.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
I did, and I thought that was very unusual.
Now I like to just do this to wipe any processed dust off that might have been there during manufacturing. The processed dust, Reg, isn't going to hurt anything, but it just might prematurely clog it where you're going to have to clean your filter. So I just like to get it all off of there, right off the bat. And now that filter element is primed. You simply install it, and then and it's ready to go. The other time that we recommend that you prime it is after you've cleaned it. Now, when you clean it, you use like I said, Scotch-Brite pad, right? And you just clean it, like this. And you can see when you start getting a little bit of black on the pad, you know that you're down to the media, and so you just have to stop there. And so you just kind of clean it off like this. Now, with this process right here, we're actually scraping a little bit of the media off the filter. You can see it kind of dripping off there, kind of black there. And so we recommend that you prime the purification element again after you've cleaned it, just to get that processed dust off of there again, so that you don't clean your filter and then prematurely clog it up again. So then that'll all just work.
Which brings us to the subject of when to clean your filter, because water doesn't pass through. That's right. Anymore.
And we tell folks, some people say, well, I haven't cleaned my filter, I've had it for a year and I haven't cleaned my filter. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The only time you clean it is when it slows down so much that you feel like you're waiting too long for water. Then you take your filter out and you clean it. And on average, for a household system like this, you're going to clean it, depending on how clean your water is, anywhere between 6 months and 18 months.
Okay, we've moved to another location now, and we want to show you a couple things that are pretty exciting, pretty phenomenal, pretty unbelievable, but absolutely true. One of the things is, a lot of viewers mistakenly think that I'm showing these products for emergency preparation because I'm being paid big endorsements, and that's just not happening. It's because I actually believe in the product. I've researched the product, and it's a good product, and I'd want my family and have my family using these products, and I want you to know you can trust my word. So if you have other people that want to say bad things about this system, this is the acid test to shut them up and shut them down cold. What we've done is we've emptied our cruddy water. We've got some pristine water out of the stream here. So you can see some clear water, even though it's got Giardia and stuff in the top. And what are we going to put in it to show this?
Well, what we're going to put in there, Reg, is food coloring.
Now, red food coloring.
Red food coloring. Now, Reg, food coloring is very small particulate. And this is a way that your viewers at home can actually test the water purification or filtration system that they're currently using. If you got an under-the-counter system, just unhook one of the pipes and put some of the red food coloring down in there, and put a lot in there. Put a couple tablespoons in there so you can actually see. If you got an on-the-counter system, disconnect it from your faucet, put some food coloring down there, and check to see how well it's removing the food coloring. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now.
Okay, so let's do that. So we got our pristine water going in.
Now the only thing that we forgot is the food coloring.
Right.
Let me run over to the buggy here and get that food coloring. Now, Reg, we recommend that folks who own a Berkey system do this test, and you can see I'm putting a lot of food coloring in here. We're not playing around.
3 tablespoons.
3 tablespoons in this little guy, so we got plenty of red in there. We recommend, Reg, that folks who own a Berkey system do this about every 6 months just to check their system. That's one of the nice things about a Berkey system is you can actually check it and you have a feedback
You'll know
loop.
if it's working.
That's right. You can tell if it's working or not. Or if, you know, sometimes people call us up and they say, "Gee, my cat knocked my Berkey system off the counter. How do I know if it's working properly?" Tell them, put a little food coloring in there. You can tell.
Okay.
So now we got that in there. Let's get a little bit more water in here. Make that filter faster. And Reg, you shared something with me that just tickled me pink. And while we're waiting for this to filter, I'd like you to share with the viewers how you showed me how to use my own product.
Okay. So grab me that filter over there. Well, I'm pretty proud that you're actually going to put this in your literature, is that right?
And on our website. It was a great solution.
Okay. Well, first time I ever used my Berkey water purification system, I was up in the mountains like this by a stream, knowing full well this needed to be primed, knowing full well that I would not have a faucet to prime it. So I'm good at problem solving, so everybody usually has bottled water in their food storage. So and it's clean, it's pure, okay, like different brands out there. So what I did is I brought 4 or 5 water bottles that were full of water, and I put your little thing on here. What's that called, a gasket or something?
That's called a priming button.
Priming, okay. Then put this on top of there. I'm not wasting any water, okay. Now, I had a bowl underneath to save any good water I might spill or waste because it's good water. And then I just squoze with my hands, and I sit on a table, had my wife holding it. You know, it's kind of hard to do in midair. But, you know, you can see...
Let me hold this so that you can get some real...
pressure on it.
Stop for just a minute. Flip it around the other way.
Okay.
Let's go this way. And let's put the priming button with the big end up. There we go.
Okay, that's why I have no problem. Put this like that.
Okay.
Okay. So it took about a half a bottle.
And can you see it sweating out of the bottom there?
Yeah, sweating out of the bottom. And then I turned it back up to save the other half of my bottle, okay? Then I installed the filter, and then I went to the next one, and I did all 8 on my Berkey system, okay? Then I put the water in the top, filtered it, and I refilled my water bottles and just kept drinking out of my water bottles. Then if I ever have to get up and go and move to some other location, I can refill my water bottles, screw on the lids, pure water, let my filters dry out, go to my new location, use my bottles again, prime the pump, and keep using the bottles over and over again. That
is absolutely incredible, and I'm so thankful that you showed us how to do it. We had another system that we were using, but it only primed at about 50 to 75%, but this will prime these 100%.
Here's a unique emergency preparedness item for your consideration. Do you live in a large city, or do you have married children in a large city? Well, check out this incredible portable kitchen, especially fantastic for people who expect to have to get out of town in a hurry. It fits in the back of your truck. It's extremely easy to load. It locks for security purposes. Just look at all these great amenities. It has a double stainless steel sink, 2 separate propane grills, a microwave, a refrigerator, a meal preparation station, and lots of cabinet space. And it folds up into a compact box so you can bug out in a hurry to your next location. This is a limited edition system only, extremely durable. Only these units are gone, they're gone for good. The suggested retail price from the manufacturer was $69.95, but you can own one for the liquidation price of only $3,500. And that's not all. If you order now, you get all these extra accessories for no additional cost. A double-sided grill with a protective case, 2 grill boxes for the propane stoves, a 5-gallon jug for clean water, a drain kit for the sink, over $500 in free extras for the low price of only $3,500. This is a covert get-out-of-town system, and all your neighbors will think it's simply an awesome tailgate party toy. But this is no toy, so if you don't have to wait for when you town for an emergency, you can practice emergency preparedness right now while preparing to be having a tailgate party to everyone else. It goes where you go. Call 801-687-8787 or go to selfpreparedness.com and type in tailgate survival system. Do it now before they're all gone. Welcome back to our show. I'm Reg McDaniel, and I'd like to introduce to you an individual that works for the Berkey Company. If you've ever heard of the Berkey name on the radio, they have their National Marketing and Sales Director, Adam Locke, who is that voice. You get to see his face today. So Adam, come on the set, and let's have you explain all the different products you have and some of the great promotions we have for those who are with us today, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Well, Reg wanted me to crunch some numbers to let you know about the different systems that we have available here. What you see displayed is what we call a Community Emergency Pack, and Reg, I think you're going to talk about that later.
Right.
The first four systems we have are called multi-use systems. And we start, of course, with the Crown, which is the largest system we have. It typically holds about 6 gallons. It's capable of purifying, with a fully loaded system, 8 elements, up to 26 gallons an hour. At that point, you're looking at about 624 gallons a day. Typically, around 312 people could use the system in one day's time. The next system down is called the Imperial. It will purify 16 gallons per hour with the 6 elements. That's around 384 gallons a day. Again, you're looking at around 192 people at this point. The Royal Berkey system comes with 2 elements, expandable to 4. It will purify about 8 gallons an hour, 192 gallons per day. And at this point, 96 people. The Big Berkey system, 7 gallons an hour, comes typical with 2 elements, expandable to 4. At this point, you're looking at about 162 gallons per day, or 84 people. The next 2 systems are our outdoor systems. This is the Travel Berkey, which condenses down for easy travel to about half its normal height. And people that use these typically for camping, hiking, it can be included in an emergency pack type of situation.
Like 72-hour kit.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. This will do about 2 3/4 gallons an hour, 66 gallons a day, and about 33 people could live off of this. Okay. The final system we have is the Berkey Light, and this is capable of doing about 4 gallons an hour, comes with 2 elements, 96 gallons a day, about 48 people.
And it doesn't nest inside of itself like
No.
all the other ones do, though, right?
No, it sure doesn't. Right, the last thing we have available is the Sport Water Purification Bottle. This thing is designed for people on the go. I've seen it in offices. I've personally used it down at the local creek here. Typically, with city-type water, you're looking at 100 to 110 gallons that this will purify with a little element inside before typically it needs to be replaced. And Reg, viewers of your show are going to get a special deal with our Sport Water Purification Bottle, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Go ahead and tell them what it's going to be.
Absolutely. If you buy one of the systems, one of our larger systems, anything from the Crown all the way down to the Travel Berkey or the Berkey Light, you will get free one of the Sport Water Purification bottles.
And those usually sell for $29.
Yes, sir, they do.
That's a good deal.
It's an awesome deal.
All right. And that's just because for our TV viewers only, nobody else gets that deal.
That's great.
All right. Okay, Adam, to wrap this up, let's explain to our viewers why, not just for demonstration purposes, but this exact amount of filters on here, bottles and containers. Tell us about that.
What this is the Community Emergency Pack, and this is designed to purify in the neighborhood of 1,600 gallons of water per day, which would take care of in a 2-gallon minimum, about 800 people. The whole thing here is designed to fit into 2 boxes. You can put it into a closet, keep it there, and leave it until that time that the emergency hits, and you absolutely have to use it. You see all the elements here because each system is designed to be fully loaded. Again, 8, 6, 4, 4, and 2, and then again 2 in the end, and plus plus 2 extra elements just in case.
Okay. Now, there's no special promotion here. There's no code word TV show, because if you buy this, how much are they going to save?
About $500 over buying them in an individual basis.
Buy them individually. So you're saving over $500 buying this community kit if you're a city official or you're someone who can be in a position to do that. So we wanted to spread the word through our TV show on that issue. Okay, we want to talk a little bit, since the show's on water, about how you've shipped these filters all over the world, and tell us about some of the experiences you've had doing that.
Well, Reg, we ship an immense amount of our filters to missionaries. Now, if you think about it, the missionaries, their immune system isn't like some of the water. I mean, some of these people in these countries, I mean, they drink the same water that they wash their oxen in and they wash their clothes in. And that water contains the oxen residue and the clothing from the tribe that's up the river. And I'll just tell you a couple stories. One, with respect to a missionary, the church that I belong to, they were sending some missionaries out, or some people out to help the missionaries in the Philippines. And so they're asking for donations, you know, clothing, canned food, that kind of thing. And so I came up to them, I said, well, listen, I'd like to send some water filters out there. And that kind of was met with a kind of a thud. So the next week, you know, they're asking for more donations. I said, look, I want to send some water filters out there. And it was kind of like, yeah. So finally, the third week, the week before they're going, I go, look, I want to send some water filters. I'm just going to donate these things. Just take them out there, give them to them. And the gentleman said, Jim, why don't you give the people something they can use, like clothes? I said, look, just humor me. Just take these water filters. Well, we don't have room. I said, okay, I'll pay for the shipping on it. Just take them with you and give them to them. So it was like he was doing, you know, it was like he couldn't shake me, so he just took these water filters with him. Well, anyway, when they came back a couple weeks later, he looked me up and he goes, Jim, I need to apologize to you. And I said, well, why is that? And he says, of all the things that we brought out to them, the thing that brought tears to their eyes were your water filters. I said, you're kidding. He goes, yeah, let me explain to you why that is. He said, these missionaries that are out on the missionary field, they feel like they are called of God to go out and to, you know, preach the word of God and to help these people and to set up orphanages. Mm-hmm. And but when they bring, most of these missionaries have children. And when they see their children that are sick from disease, from what's in the water, and they see their children losing their health, then they start questioning, God, am I really hearing you right? Do I have the right to sacrifice the health and the life of my children for this mission? And that was the case with these people out in the Philippines. And the mothers were just torn up inside because their kids were chronically sick. As soon as they started using the water filters, Reg, those kids got better and stopped being sick. And this was the miracle those mothers of those missionary children had been praying for.
Okay, what about with the Iraqi war?
On the Iraqi war, you may recall they were worried about a biological attack.
Right.
And it wasn't just our military that was in there. We had a lot of relief workers. We had doctors in there and so on and so forth. So they flew our Berkey purifiers in there, not only to purify that water out of the Tigris and the Euphrates River, but in the event that there was a biological attack, they wanted to have something to get that stuff out of the water.
Plus they use it in a hospital, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, remember the Christmas tsunami a couple years ago?
Yeah.
In Indonesia? Well, there was a lot of politics that was going on, but they weren't letting a lot of people in there because you had these Muslim warlords that were kind of taking advantage of this situation. And a lot of the supplies were out there 30 miles out to sea, and they weren't letting them come in until they could work this out. They didn't want to have an international incident. Long story short, when they found out that they had water purifiers, the folks that brought our Berkeys in were the first ones that were allowed in. They gave them a military escort to the hospitals, and they were actually using our Berkey purifiers to do surgery, major surgery, remove gangrene, amputations. And the reason why they had to do that, Reg, is because in a crisis like that, all the gas lines are busted, all the electricity's down, you can't boil water. There's only one option left, and that's to purify the water you got. Right. And they use our Berkey purifiers to do that.
Okay. Well, I want to share that story on our outtake DVD, so you can realize that there is a humanitarian part of this company, as well as the, wanting to sell the product to the consumer, like myself and you, the viewing audience. So, thanks for sharing that with us, Jim.
Pleasure.
Okay, so we got a red food color in there. I'll put the lid on here. And as you can see, if you zoom in here, You got nothing but clean water, no pinkish hue, nothing. And this is high definition filming we're doing today, so you can really see the detail. And now I'm going to send Jim down to get some more water in our crappy bucket. And we're going to show you how to prime your filter if you don't have access to clean water, to do it the way I showed you that I did with the upside down procedure. So go ahead and grab some more water and we'll do that. Okay, so we're at the edge of the stream here, and we're going to show you how to prime your filter if you don't have clean water. So here's the microphone, Jim, and show us how you can do it if you don't have this resource.
Okay. The important part about this, Reg, is that you want to protect the top part of the filter, because this part's going to go into the lower chamber where your clean water is. So you want to keep the stem out of the water. Out of the dirty water. Now this is dirty water, and what we're going to do is put this filter in upside down in the water with the stem out. And I usually recommend you take some sort of a weight, like a ceramic coffee cup is really perfect. And what that does is that'll hold it under water. And so I just set this on there like this. And
how long does that take?
I recommend that you, it's going to take probably about a half an hour to fill the inside of it. And what happens is the water pressure is starting to push the air actually to the inside of the filter in this method. And as the water fills up in there, then it'll become heavy and it'll be just weighted down. Now once you finish this process, then you install the filters. And then I suggest that you install the filter sideways. You take your system, you put it sideways, put the filter in there so that the water won't drip out of the stem. Put your wing nuts on there. And by the way, the system is, I don't think we mentioned this, but system takes about 3 to 5 minutes to set up, and you're ready to purify water. It's very simple to put together. And then fill the upper chamber with water, and now you've got the water that's inside the purification element pulling down to get out of the stem, but it's sucking new water in, and again pulling any residual water out there, and you're going to get about 75% priming by using this method.
So there you have it, your pure drinking water from any source, one of the greatest products and one of the best investments in your emergency preparation equipment. And don't forget, water is more important than food. It's your most, life-saving commodity. Has the most uses. Is the heaviest thing you really can't store that much. And so you want to be sure and invest in this. And you say this is economical, Jim. What's the cost of this device?
Well, the way that you rate water filters is you rate them on the cost per gallon based on the replacement filters.
Okay.
It turns out this is one of the most economical systems. It only runs about $0.015 per gallon to purify water.
Okay. Well, that's the end of our show for the first portion of the show before we go into some recipes. And I want to thank Jim Shepard and Adam Stock for allowing us to come here to their factory located and headquartered in Arlington, Texas. And hope you guys take the time to get this equipment, because it's really important. And that's why it's our 3rd episode out of all 28 episodes we're doing this season.
Do you feel a need for more food storage but don't have the usual $2,000 or $3,000 to get it? Do you have the basic foods for survival but want more variety, nutrition, and selection? For a very limited time, you can have 1 year's supply of gourmet food storage delivered to your door for just $500 down and a low monthly payment for the balance. That means you can get all this food now and pay for it in affordable budgeted payments. Call Cooking with Home Storage for the details at 435-835-8283. That's 435-835-8283. Pay $500 now, get the 1 year food supply right now, and make affordable monthly payments for more peace of mind. That's 435-835-8283.
Here's a unique emergency preparedness item for your consideration. Do you live in a large city, or do you have married children in a large city? Well, check out this incredible portable kitchen, especially fantastic for people who expect to have to get out of town in a hurry. It fits in the back of your truck. It's extremely easy to load. It locks for security purposes. Just look at all these great amenities. It has a double stainless steel sink, 2 separate propane grills, a microwave, a refrigerator, a meal preparation station, and lots of cabinet space. And it folds up into a compact box so you can bug out in a hurry to your next location. This is a limited edition system only. Extremely durable. Only these units are gone. They're gone for good. The suggested retail price from the manufacturer was $69.95, but you can own one for the liquidation price of only $3,500. And that's not all. If you order now, you get all these extra accessories for no additional cost. A double-sided grill with a protective case, 2 grill boxes for the propane stoves, a 5-gallon jug for clean water, a drain kit for the sink, over $500 in free extras for the low price of only $3,500. This is a covert get-out-of-town system, and all your neighbors will think it's simply an awesome tailgate party toy. But this is no toy, so if you don't have to wait for when you leave town for an emergency, you can practice emergency preparedness right now while preparing to be having a tailgate party to everyone else. It goes where you go. Call 801-687-8787 or go to selfpreparedness.com and type in tailgate survival system. Do it now before they're all gone. Welcome back to our show, and now we're going to do a broccoli beef stir fry. And I have a can of beef chunks here, and they're packed in water. They have a little pool of condensed grease at the top, so you can certainly take a spoon and put that into a container with that you want to put excess grease in. And I've showed you in another episode how you can take that grease from bacon and things of that nature and make a waxless candle. So you want to be sure and watch the show to see how you do that. All right. Now, as far as the water in the can, I'd use about half of it, pour it into a soup or a beef stock or a gravy or something like that. Because you're only going to need about half the water that's in here. You're not going to need all of it. And our goal is just to reheat up the beef chunks, get them warm. And you could do this in a solar oven, you know, getting them warm. You don't have to use propane or alcohol stoves, but you could use those too, because you're not going to be able to use an electric grill in an emergency situation, and you want to always remember that. It's nice to be able to do these for the TV show in a kitchen, but in a real situation, the power's down, the water isn't running, and the sewer isn't running either. Putting in the dehydrated onions here. Now I have flash freeze-dried or freeze-dried bell peppers here, and it calls for in the recipe 1/4 cup. I'm addicted to bell peppers, so I always put in double. I'm not doing it this time, but I usually put in double the amount of peppers. I have like 24 cans of bell peppers in my food storage, so. So we're doing our onions, we're doing our bell peppers together with the meat, letting it steam, cook that, saute that. Now this is something that you might have once a month, you know, for once a month for a year, and it's kind of an emotional thing, you know, it raises your spirits and wow, you know, kind of thing. Every recipe I try to do is kind of a gourmet recipe with food storage. You know, you've got your beans and rice, and you can get the book that has 150 recipes we talk about in an episode. And that's all fine and well, but once in a while you want to get out of the beans and rice mode, you know, or the cracked wheat for breakfast mode, you know, kind of thing. All right, so we've got, okay, once this is done a little more, we're going to add the remaining ingredients in the recipe. Then we don't have time to fry our noodles tonight, but we can try the egg noodles that we had. We'll put those in. So I've got my brown rice. And brown rice, if you keep it in a dark, cool area for storage rather than in room temperature in your pantry, it will store for over a year. The common belief out there is you can only store brown rice because of the oil on the husks of the grain for a year. Not true. You can store it a year and a half to 2 years, even up to 3, if you have a really cold storage area in a basement, in a dark area to store it in, okay? And you're going to be using it, so if it starts, tasting a little bit funny, you want to use it up in a hurry, but you're not going to have a 15-year brown rice food supply. It's just not going to happen. But you can have a 1 to 3 year brown rice food supply. I have a lot of white rice, and I have like 2 5-gallon buckets of brown rice in my food storage. To give you an example, I have like 10 5-gallon buckets of white rice and 10 5-gallon buckets of pinto beans. But you don't want to do that with brown rice unless you have 12 kids. Okay. Then you could probably get away with it. All right, you got the bell pepper, ginger root. Now you can use a little bit of ginger powder if you don't have fresh ginger root. We're just going to take advantage of the situation. Now I can add water. You know how when you do this kind of a meal and you get it at Panda Express, it's kind of got that liquidy, gooey consistency. You know what I'm talking about? It's like cornstarch. That's what it is. So you could add water and cornstarch to this if you wanted to have that consistency or a thickening gel of some sort. Okay. Take it off the heat for a second. Okay, this is the sauce here, stir fry. Yeah. It's something you put in your food storage, the bottle's going to last a very long time. It's a stir fry sauce. Nope. So, two tablespoons. Now, I have Heinz 57 and A1 steak sauce in my food storage because of the steaks and the pork chops. Something you'd never think about putting in a food storage, but now you know what you know and how to get it. You want to be sure and get on my email list. I have 1 gallon containers of soy sauce, 1 gallon containers of Worcestershire sauce. I do my own jerky. That's why I have such large containers. Do a lot of Oriental cooking. And then we'll take some of our noodles and put in there too, just for the experience. And of course, the oil you want to have the most of in your storage, which most people don't, because they don't use it that much, they don't know how to use it, is olive oil, because it has the longest shelf life. And I've had olive oil in tin cans, not glass bottles, for up to 10 years, and it's not gone rancid. Okay, I still have one, and I just haven't got to using it yet, and it's kind of like next on the list of things to use in the food storage of olive oil before I start breaking into my other stock. About a year and a half ago, a friend of mine, actually 2 friends of mine and myself, purchased $35,000 of olive oil from Greece. And I sold all the ones I bought in the order to friends and myself and family and stuff. And they've sold all of theirs too. And I was selling them at $34 a gallon. Just a couple months ago, I still had them. And they were going for $58 a gallon at your stores. We're placing another order from Greece, $35,000 order. So I'm going to buy, what I told them is I'll buy 6 to 10 cases. The more cases we buy, the better the price is. And so I said, well, if you get the minimum order, I want 6 cases. If we need a few more to get the maximum discount, I'll buy 10 cases, which is 6 gallons to a case. That's 60 gallons of olive oil. It's a lot of money. And then what I do is I email the group and say, I have this many cans of olive oil for $34 a can, first come, first serve. First guy to show up, and they come buy it. And I don't usually sell stuff, but when it's a one-time purchase, one-time opportunity, I do those kind of things all the time. And I pass that on to my email viewing audience like yourselves. Okay, this is ready. How was the, did you guys try the one? Was it good? Did you enjoy that? Okay, now the last thing I want to add here is our broccoli. And you're welcome to come smell this. It smells just like broccoli, because it is. It doesn't smell awful. Or yeah, I put water in it. If you'd like to see what any of these things look like before they're rehydrated, I'll be glad to show them to you. And one thing I have now that I'm hoping to get a lot more of, and I'm hoping to offer to my email audience, is freeze-dried asparagus in number 10 cans. I have about 18 cases, not cases, cans, and I'm trying to convince the manufacturer to make more, you know. Now, this has the stir-fry sauce in it. It's easier to store longer too, because it's in aluminum packaging. Okay, so let me just wrap up this and then we'll serve it, okay? And that's it for our broccoli stir fry. And to conclude this show, as I always do with every episode, I just like to take off my hat and let's say, never forget to praise the Lord for all the food He's given us and the knowledge and tools He's given us to survive the bad times ahead. Let's all get prepared and take advantage of this great knowledge and these experiences. And we'll see you next week. Thanks. Okay.
Thank you for watching. You're now better prepared.
Go ahead.
In 3, 2, thank you for watching. You're now better prepared today to be safe tomorrow.